Okay, I'm going to be starting a video this morning. I don't know how long it's going to be or how many parts it's going to be. But basically what I've done is I just got back from the metal store. Bought a piece of 12 gauge mild steel plate or gauge plate. I need to cut a piece off because it's too big to work with like that. So I'm going to be making some Kant twist clamps, and I'm going to be using the 12 gauge material for the outer part of the clamps. So anyway, I got to cut a piece off, so I've decided, of course I could cut it off with the acetylene, but I don't want to heat it up. So what I'm going to do is just cut it off with the angle grinder. You can see the angle grinder there. I've clamped it to the bench or workmate, and I'm going to cut about a 4-inch piece off that I can put on the CNC mill and cut the 4 pieces that are required for the clamp out with the CNC. There's a lot of ways to cut the pieces out. You can cut them out with with the angle grinder. Actually, I've seen that done. Basically, I've seen other ways of doing it, but you can cut them out with a bandsaw, of course. But what I'm going to do is use CNC because I've got that, so that's the easiest way to do it. So this is the beginning of the video, and I'm just going to probably fast forward through this part, but I'm going to take the angle grinder and cut off a piece of material. So I'll get going. So there we go. Pretty simple process to cut that off, and so that'll work nicely. It'll fit right on the little TEG micro mill, and we'll cut the next step will be to cut the 4 pieces out for the clamp. So I'll be shutting the camera off, and I'll get back to you when we start doing the CNC work. Okay, yeah, we've got a couple pieces cut out. They should work very nicely on the mill. See them there? The one's about 8 inches long, or 7 inches long. One of them's about 5. The longer one will make the 2 larger pieces for the clamp, and the smaller one will make the 2 smaller pieces for the clamp. Let me take a look here. I'll show you. So let's see. I have some Kant type clamps here. You know, these are 2-inch clamps. So what I'm making is probably about a 3-inch clamp currently. So these are the larger pieces. There's 2 of those, and there's 2 of these smaller pieces that'll be made out of the gauge plate. So that gives you an idea. So we're going to go ahead and set these up, or one of them up on the CNC mill, and we're going to cut out the 2 pieces. I'm going to develop some CamBam software to do that. So I'll be back when I get these mounted up on the mill, or one of them mounted up on the mill. Okay, I've moved over to the CNC little micro mill over here, and I've got an 8-inch end mill in there, and that 8-inch end mill should do all the work. I shouldn't have to change cutters. That'll drill the holes and do everything I need to do. So I was hoping to get the 2 large plates onto 1 piece, but I made a mistake. I've got I only could get 1 large one and 1 small one. So I guess I'll do the same thing next time around. So that's the way it worked out. But the CNC work is going smoothly. When I shut the camera off here, I'm going to speed up the feed rate and get through this portion, and I'll have to cut another piece off of the gauge plate to do the next one. Anyway, I'll call off and shut the camera off for a few minutes, and while this is going, and we'll get on to the next step. Okay, I just breaking in here with the camera for a quick shot. This thing's going along just fine, taking a while, but I don't see any problems. So the next, I'll set up again and do a repeat performance to get the 4 plates that we need. So, like I say, everything's going along just fine. So I'm going to shut the camera off again, and I'll bring you back when we get the plates finished and we're ready to start doing the lathe work for the standoffs that go in between them. So let's shut the camera off again. Just a quick look here. Maybe I'll zoom in the one side, the one larger plate is finished. You can see just barely see the blue tape breaking through. I could have gone a little deeper in the depth of cut, I guess, so that's okay. We'll clean it up once we get it out of there. So that said, we'll shut the camera off and bring you back as soon as we start doing the lathe work. Back again. I thought I'd give you another quick peek as we finish up the CNC process before we start the lathe work. So let me zoom in on that. So we're just finishing up the last hole in the second set of plates. You can see there. So we're almost done. So let me shut the mill off. Oh, get the spindle out of the way a little bit so I can zoom out. So you can see the first set of plates there down in the lower corner, and well, let's see here. Let me spin this thing around so I can see. So here's the first set of plates. There's the piece they were cut out of, and is that in my? That's not in the viewer, is it? What am I doing here? Let's zoom out a little bit more, I guess. So there's the piece that the first set were cut out of, and those are that's the first set of plates. So so this will be the second set. And I don't know, these should just pop out of here, but sometimes I have to do a little work to get them out, so. Steel, so they're not going to bend. Yeah. Well, there's one of them. There you go. So they need a little deburring is all, and they'll be as good as the other ones. There's the second one. So now we got all the plates we need. So I'll get those deburred, and we'll proceed with the lathe work. We can see there, laying on top. A little bit deburring to do. Take me 5 or 10 minutes to deburr those. I might hit the edges on the belt sander, deburr the edges of the holes with the deburring tool. So then they'll be ready to go. We just need to build the standoffs. I don't know. I don't think there's any more than about 4, maybe 6 standoffs altogether, and and then we have the 2 threaded pieces to do. So these are pretty simple clamps to build, actually, and the CNC does a good job because it cuts the plates out for you, and it's a no-brainer basically. So anyway, I'll shut the camera off again and get back with you when we start doing the lathe work. Okay, this will be the next little segment of the video. I've got these 4 pieces deburred. Only took a few minutes. So so now I've got to do some lathe work. Actually, the easiest place to do that is here on the little TIG micro lathe, actually. And so what I'm going to do is I need to cut a bunch of standoffs to length. Little pieces. I kind of calculated the length, and they need to be about 950 thousandths long. So I just used a gauge block to set things up. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Let me zoom in a little bit. You can see. So all I've done, I've got the carriage locked, and I've got the cutoff tool on here, and I just turned a tool post, a regular old TIG tool post, fits in the T slot. I tightened it up in there, and put a 1/4 inch tool bit in there, and just turned it around the opposite way. So now all I have to do to cut these off is to all the same length. I'm going to just drag this piece forward, butt it into the stop, Alright. So that's it. So now we're going to cut the shoulders on those. I'm going to leave 150 thousandths on each end, I think. That's what I calculated. That's going to leave me about 5/8 in the center. That'll be 5/8 of an inch between plates. So I'll call off. I'll shut the camera off now for this little segment, and I'll bring you back when we get ready to cut the shoulders. Alright, all these will be the same, so it's kind of a no-brainer, but we'll zoom out a little bit here. So I set my stop for 150 thousandths, and this is 1/4 inch material, so 250 thousandths. And what I want is about 190 thousandths. So that means 60 thousandths I have to take off. So that I zeroed out things. So there we go. That's all we're going to do right there. And we're going to do that to each one of the ends. Anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off and we'll get the rest of them done, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so it looks like to me I only need about 3 this size. So I don't need very many. I'm going to make one more. These are protruding about 50 thousandths. I'm going to rivet that over to lock all this together. I tried a sample piece, and believe me, just a little work with a ball peen hammer and those are locked in like bulletproof. So that's where we're at. I gotta make a couple a little different size, that the shoulder has to go through 2 layers of the gauge plate. So I think I need 2 of those, or maybe only 1. So anyway, I'm going to get busy doing that, and then I'll bring you back when we get ready to make the part that the threaded rod goes through. Those 2 parts, and then we got the jaws to make. So this whole thing is taking very little time, actually. So if I quit making mistakes, it'll go faster. Anyway, I'll shut the camera off again and bring you back in a bit. Okay, back again. So I've got the standoffs built. Let me zoom out just a little bit here, see if that helps. So I've got the standoffs all built, you can see, and so what it turns out is there's only 2 of the first ones I started, and there's 2 others that fit this length here, right? And one of them is a larger one with a little longer shoulders on it that has to go through 2 layers of the gauge plate. And then there's another one here. So that's it. This one and this one here, where this has to swivel, is a little tricky. So right now it's a little bit tight. Now I'm not sure. I could be, putting a little extra pressure on with these clamps. I'm not sure. But so what I may do is just relieve the shoulder a little bit on this center one. They're all protruding about 50 thousandths, so that'll give me a nice area to peen over for to make a rivet. So the next step will be to make the bolt that goes here, that adjusts the length of the clamp, this bolt. So I've got to make two pieces, one threaded and one with a through hole in it, so I can put a cap screw on the other end of it. So anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm going to shut the camera off again, and I'll bring you back when I get this threaded rod put in here. I think I've got 5/16 material and I've got 1/4 inch. These on the 2-inch clamps are 1/4 inch, so I may just use 1/4 inch. I think that'll work just fine. So anyway, that's the clamps are coming along just fine. Fairly easy build. So I'll shut the camera off again and bring you back. Okay, back again. I may make this the last segment because I'm pretty sure after I piece all these things together, this video is going to get kind of long. So I'm at a point now where I'm ready to finish this up. Okay, I'm just holding it together here with a clamp. So right now I haven't bent the rivets over or done that, but I did make these 2 parts. So this part here, all it is a piece of rod. I use 1/2-inch rod for this clamp. You know, that might change just depending on the size of the clamp you make, right? So that's just a piece of 1/2-inch rod. It's got a shoulder on each end, and it's not riveted or anything because it has to swivel. So it's just flush, you know, here. So and here, I don't know where I'm at here. So anyway, that's all that is. Very simple. And there's a piece of 1/4 inch, 1/4 threaded rod. Now I haven't decided how long I'm going to make it. So this end is not finished, but this end will eventually get a handle on it. So that's pretty straightforward, I think. I don't think it's you know, very complicated. I used the same piece of 1/2-inch rod down here at this end, okay, and it's the same. It's just got a shoulder on it. It's not as long as this one, right? This is longer. This is a shorter piece of rod, but what I did was, you can see on the end of I turned the threads off of it. Actually, I turned it down to 3/16 of an inch. Okay, standard drill size. And then what I did was I turned it down for about 1/4 or 3/8 of an inch, so it would go halfway through this piece of 1/2-inch dowel. So that's what I did there. And then what I did, this is a 440 screw, cap screw in the end. Okay, and this has got to be able to swivel. It's got to be able to, when you turn it, you know, it's got to be able to move the clamp, right, in both directions. So the cap screw has got a dead end into the end. I put a 440 thread in the end of the threaded rod. So that's how that's set up. And the first thing I did was drill a 440 clearance hole all the way through this piece of dowel, and then I drilled a 3/16 hole halfway through it. So that way it works in both directions. So it's as simple as that. I mean, there's nothing else to it. So I did discover one thing. This piece of rod that goes through here, that hinges the 2 sections of plate together, this piece of rod should have 2 shoulders in it. Because I'm going to have to be careful when I rivet the ends of this that I don't tighten it up too much, because this has to be able to move. I did take about 10/1000ths off of the shoulder this morning, so that to try to guarantee that there's going to be enough slop in there. But you don't want slop in this thing. You want it to be everything to be pretty tight. But you still want it to operate. Now I do have the 2 jaws to make for it, but I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and rivet it together at this point. The threaded rod can come out. That's no problem. So I can work on that if I need to finish up the handle and decide how long I'm going to make it. I'm going to make the jaws replaceable. So instead of you know, riveting them over or something like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 440, not a regular cap screw, what do you want to call it, you know, oval head cap screw, to hold those jaws in there, to hold the little axle that they swivel on in place. So then I can take it apart, and maybe what I'll do is put a shoulder on one side and I'll put some way to fasten on the other side. That way I can replace them if I need to. And so I can make them out of brass or phenolic or aluminum or steel, whatever material I want to make them out of. So, and then I can replace them if necessary. So I think I'll terminate this video at this point, and I think you got the idea, and I'll post it up on YouTube. So if you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments there. So I'll call off now. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.